All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the April 16th, 2018 meeting of the Board of Selectmen. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on the agenda will be public comment.
Good evening, everyone. Gary Cody, 25 Waterman Road. I was here last Monday asking for help with the issue down on Waterman Road with 10 Waterman Road, bringing junk vehicles down along the road. And just carrying on in disorderly manner about revving up a boat, doing rip-outs on the road, and climbing the trees and dressing them up in different kinds of construction fencing. I don't know if anybody's talked to the police or anything. The police had been down there like 4 times last weekend, and we don't understand why he wasn't arrested for like disorderly conduct or anything. We was wondering if any of the selectmen had time. I know all you folks are busy to take a ride down and see what it looks like down there.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would there anything that the town can do to help us?
I spoke to I went down there with the building inspector.
Okay, with Chip, yeah. Chip's been really...
It's in the works.
Okay.
From that end. The other thing is so the police, and we've explained this a year ago, and explained it again, I think, last week, is that if the police get there and they don't see this stuff transpire in front of them, they can't take any action to arrest anybody or take action.
Okay.
So somebody down there that sees it would have to go and sign the complaint and appear in court.
Okay.
To prosecute the names for this. As far as some of the stuff on the road, like I said, they have to see it, or the other stuff is we're still looking into it, what the town's responsibility is for that road, so.
Okay.
I've been down there. Actually, I've been by it twice, so.
Alrighty, okay, so.
It's not a dead issue.
All right, so things are looking up.
But I mean, it's between you and the other residents. If you
Okay.
see something, when the police don't see it, the statutes are very clear that if it does certain crimes or violations, if they don't take place in front of the police officer, they can't just go down and take action. So somebody that witnesses, yourself or one of the other neighbors, have to actually go and swear to the complaint and be the witness in court.
All right, see, they didn't tell us about anything like that, but, okay.
I think I explained that to you last week, but again, this is
All right.
what you have to do down there.
All right, because I've been down to the police station many times on, like, we don't have a animal control. So we've taken videos, we've taken pictures, and we've gone down and signed complaints, but we never hear anything back from the police department on the
You call the
actions.
SPCA directly, and it's in Concord.
Yeah, the Pope Memorial.
Right, and they will come out and investigate it. They have a unit that does that. There's cruelty to animals going on.
Right. This is, the issue was the animals are coming onto my property.
They're out of their fence.
Yeah, they come in. I've had right before it started snowing. This was at the end of December. I had them for 4 days grazing on my front lawn and on my property.
there
for
is-
4
What's
days.
grazing? Cows?
No, a sheep grazing.
Oh,
There
sheep.
is, but
Yeah.
there is statutes, there is a statute, and again, that's a misdemeanor. It's not gonna take place, or a violation, it wouldn't take place in front of the police officer. They don't see it. You'd have to sign the complaint saying,
Right,
okay,
I
I'll go to
did,
court, give me
yeah.
the complaint, I'll sign it, then they can go
Yeah,
and arrest.
I've given them video, pictures, signed the complaint. We've never heard anything back on
Did you
anything.
sign a court complaint, or did you sign just a complaint form?
Complaint form with
You'd
them.
have to sign actually the complaint, the court complaint, and swear to it in front of the
Okay,
officers.
all right. See, they never tell us that, so.
You'd be the complainant, whereas normally if the police officer, like a summons, the police officer would do it, but in this instance, you see it, they don't. Somebody
Right.
has to, so it can go to court.
Okay, so.
And that should have been explained, but obviously.
Right, no, they don't. They just say, fill out a complaint. You fill out the complaint, you give them the video, you give them the pictures, and then they never get back to you about anything on it.
The other thing is maybe to go talk to the prosecutor. There is an attorney, that's the town prosecutor that's there at the police station, and speak to her.
Okay.
And tell her this is what you want, and she'll more than likely draft that paperwork for you and say,
All
okay,
right.
here's
What are
here it
her
is.
hours?
You probably have to get a hold of the police department
Get
to
a hold
find
of
out
the
when she's gonna be
police
there.
I don't
Okay.
know with all the
Very-
cases.
Right.
With all the cases, but she's in the office at times, so you might have to make an appointment and go down and see her.
Okay,
Right.
all right,
It's not a dead issue, sir.
all right,
We are,
very good.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah.
We do. Thank you.
thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, we'll move on to a couple of appointments, department head committee items. So, I have a form here, since she's here. We'll start with Lori. Appointment of the Conservation Commission, Lori Davis. Yeah, come on up since you're here.
Do you have the form they gave you?
She handed it.
I didn't see it.
Another committee?
They needed help, I have time.
Okay. Any particular, is that just because they need help, or is anything on the Conservation
Part of the reason I
Commission?
moved to Weare is I like country.
Hmm.
I like nature. You can live in so many places. I've lived in Chicago. We've destroyed so much of our natural forestry and the animals with it, and they're a gift to us. I like to be involved with things with animals and nature. I have the time to help, and I think it's very important that Weare retain its background of being concerned for it. We're big on conservation here. We keep a lot of land in it, and people like the rural outfit of Weare, and somebody has to help maintain that, so I stuck my neck in it.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion?
I make a motion that we put Lori on the Conservation Commission,
For a 3-year term.
3-year term.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Okay. Welcome
Thank you.
aboard. And we have one more for appointment to the zoning board as an alternate. Gary Shelto. He could not be here tonight. Entertain a motion?
Appoint Gary Shelto to the, as an alternate to the, planning board for,
Zoning board.
or
Is
zoning board rather, for a period of 3 years.
there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And we have the fire department, Chief Fazzini here for an equipment update.
As some of you may or may not know, the ladder truck that we had, I might have let the cat out of the bag, broke. And we weren't entirely sure how significantly it was broken. But it is significant. And so we made that known to Primex. And so we have some options that we can discuss tonight. I have a copy of Primex's.
Thanks, Chief.
You got it back side, right? Yeah.
So this is a letter from Primex, from a Tom Parrott. He's a claims consultant. at Primex regarding the options that we have with the 1990 Seagrave ladder truck that we have.
The ladder truck suffered what is considered a catastrophic failure. During the operation of the aerial ladder, the some of the safety mechanism got messed up. I'm not even entirely sure exactly what happened. That caused damage to those particular components of the aerial, plus the aerial itself. Due to the age of the ladder, which is 1990, I think, or 91, we can't go buy parts for this truck. The truck, the manufacturer, Seagrave, won't even make parts for this truck. They looked at their shop drawings and they have no parts anywhere at this point, and they cannot make parts or won't make parts for that. So it left us with a couple of different options. There aren't parts readily available because it is metal and welding, and that the place where it's at currently, which is down in Massachusetts, said that sure, we could fix it, but it's going to be very expensive. The impression I got from Primex is that they're not necessarily, they have the option of whether to fix it or to pay us out. And they're essentially would just soon pay you out part of the discussion. So what they had, I guess really kind of the discussion that was internal to the Board of Fire Wards was, is this something that we even want to pursue fixing the current truck? And I believe, the consensus was that the board was not interested in pursuing that option. So that leaves us with Primex paying us out on that, and whether that's they'll go buy us a truck of similar vintage and capability for that agreed upon price, which was I think it nets out to $53,000. Or they would cut us a check for $53,000. We had asked a question of whether or not we could, what if we didn't necessarily want a ladder truck, but we wanted some other type of a vehicle? Was that something that they would entertain purchasing? They had no problem with that. They would just need authorization from the Board of Selectmen, the legislative body, to wherever you want them to write the check to is where they'll write the check to. One of the options that had come up, well, let me just stop there. Do we have questions about the ladder truck?
Yeah, I do. How many times has that ladder truck actually been used? Because I've hardly ever seen it out.
I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you that it's not used very often since I've been here. Mm-hmm. So I think the decision by the Board of Fire Wards, as well as my personal opinion, is it wasn't worth putting any money into that particular truck. So personally, I'm comfortable with that.
What did the board and yourself decide or come up with?
Well,
a plan
one of the
for?
things that had come up was in the CIP in 2019 is a replacement for what is referred to as the chief's car, or the what had been the Taurus, the Durango, which is now the Ford 3/4 ton pickup. It's something that's been identified in the CIP for this coming cycle. Is that something that the board would want to entertain using this money, if that was possible, to speed that purchase along? Whether that decision lies with the Board of Fire Wards or the Board of Selectmen or both.
Were you looking for some other piece of apparatus to replace that with, other than?
Not as a major piece of apparatus,
Not
no.
a major piece, so, okay,
Yep.
so,
So we weren't necessarily interested in getting another aerial ladder.
or another engine or anything along that line, at
Right.
least.
And so when the ladder truck was purchased in '06, did we
Sounds right.
ever figure that
06,
out?
07.
Somewhere, yeah, it was after the new building was purchased.
Yes.
Built. The ladder situation in the surrounding communities was very different. So Goffstown had, I think, a rickety old truck.
Yeah, a couple of them.
They had not Island Shore, that's in Concord. Whatever the condos are at the lake.
Oh.
You know, that's probably one of those developments that, you know, yeah, I could see us perhaps using a device there. So anyways, the ladder was purchased, and I think that, you know, I can see how that decision was made. Since then, Goffstown has purchased a new truck, and part of the grant that they use, part of the grant writing they use to purchase that vehicle, was to not lend it, but to use it if another community called for it, that they would send it out. And so that truck usually comes with 2, 3, 4 people on it. Hopkinton has purchased an aerial since the one was purchased here. Most recently is Hillsborough has a new truck. So I think the need for us to have one is greatly diminished.
Now, is that something, with that grant that Goffstown gets, is that something that we can incorporate into what's known as our run cards to have them automatically started?
We
On-
could do that. We don't, on our run cards, we don't have any aerial devices specifically identified to that. If you go to a second alarm, you automatically go to the ladder truck. And a lot of that had to do with, there's just so many places that by the time they would show up, they wouldn't even be able to get near the building because of once you get a truck in the driveway, it's hard to get by them. We have used them on a number of fires. We used them at the center store fire. We used them at the apartment house up the street by the current town garage. I want to say we might have used them somewhere else, but so they do come. They, you know, like I said, they come with a couple people. They're very willing to work, and we get the benefit of a device coming with someone that knows how to use it, and it doesn't cost us anything.
Now, the reason that our truck didn't go, was it the nature of the calls, or was it just shortage of operators? Was it shortage of personnel? Is it, can we?
I think it's not the most. I mean, an aerial ladder, it's a whole different mindset from running a pumper truck. Having worked on one almost my whole career in the fire service, it is a different mindset. There are a lot of limitations. We had very, very few people who were qualified to use the one that we had. And quite frankly, if one of those people were to be the first one to get to the station, the ladder truck's not going to be the first truck that gets out. It's going to be the pumper or the tanker, because no matter how great you are as a ladder operator, if you don't have water and a hose, that fire is probably not going to work. So it was, you know, why didn't it go? A lot of it was, some of it was the types of calls that we went on. We're not going to be able to get the ladder in there. And some of it is we just didn't have enough operators and to use it.
Yeah, most of these questions I'm asking, I already know the answer to,
Yep.
but I just want everybody to know.
No, those are good
surrounding
questions.
questions.
Yep.
The surrounding questions and answers of you know, the ladder truck as a whole. So, what is,
So we don't need another tanker or another pump truck? We're completely,
Yep, so in 2023, just by the 20-year replacement schedule, engine 5, which is the pumper that's up here in the north end, is due for replacement. I think at the current use, the current rate of use of that truck, I don't know if it's gonna need, I don't think that it's gonna need to be replaced in 2023. That might be something, as it gets closer, we'll start doing that evaluation of whether it needs to be replaced now, or can we kick it down the road a little bit. And that's the first major piece of apparatus that we replace in the current CIP schedule, is not till 2023. Which it is all kind of built into that discussion that we had with the vehicle replacement fund, and the revenue source and all that stuff was kind of geared towards having money available out, whatever that is, another 5-6 years from now.
So if you're looking to replace, you're looking for a command vehicle or a chief's vehicle, what are you looking to get?
Well, we're kind of in two different paths. One is, and we end up at the same price point. So there's the typical SUV thing. The closest one around here is Chief O'Brien has a Tahoe. It's got the command box in the back. It is your very quintessential Chief's car. So there's that route. And if you asked me a month ago, I would say, yeah, that would function well. As we spoke previously, I'm in my car quite a bit, doing inspections and response and all the other stuff that I do. And that would work quite well. More recently, I've been thinking about whether or not we could be well served with a 4-door pickup truck style vehicle that would provide 90% of the SUV capability. It might be something that we'd have to play around with the command box piece of it, though it's not unheard of to do something with that in the pickup truck. And that vehicle would be more versatile in its life as a chief's car, if you will, but also later in life when it perhaps gets downgraded to a support vehicle. I think it's more versatile in its future life than it is just being an SUV. Again, we end up at the same price point. I looked at some of those numbers today. From the SUV off the state purchasing contracts, they're right around, the Chevy Tahoe is the most expensive it starts out at almost $34,000, and goes up from there. The Ford and the Dodge, so it's a Ford Explorer and the Dodge Durango, are about $27,000 to start. The 4x4 pickup truck piece, Chevy, Ford, and Dodge, they're all fairly similar. They average about $26,500 to start. Assuming the upfitting costs are relatively the same across the board per vendor, we end up really within $1,000, whether it's a pickup truck or an SUV. So the cost is not even worth.
so what's the
Talking about-
cost outfit then?
So I was using the start price. I just kind of threw some options in there that I knew we would want, like, a towing package and heated mirrors or whatever. And then I use just a straight up $15,000 upfit cost, where we're putting light package in there. 4 all the other little ancillary things that you get. And that was a number that we found with the police department upfit of their cruisers was 14 and change. And so that has us out at about 44,000. So I think 50 would be plenty to get the job done.
Now, what would become of the current F-350 pickup?
I would make a strong case to keep that. I mean, it is already set up as the plow on there, so I don't think it's worth spending money to reconfigure that onto another vehicle. We don't have a utility vehicle to, quote, utility vehicle in the fire department to pick up hose, to pick up anything. Some days we picked up doors at the south end station to bring back to the north end, and we went down there with the ambulance and shoved them in that, because that was the one vehicle we could put them in. So it is a perfectly serviceable vehicle. We do have some issues with the body with rust underneath that were identified in last year's inspection. So I really can't see getting rid of it until we had to, or you guys said we had to.
What's the board's feelings?
I think we ought to let the chief work it out, and come back to us with his decision on what he needs. He knows his needs probably better than we can forecast between him and the Board of Fire Wards. And I know there was talk back a couple of years ago that he'd like to get another command vehicle, a chief's vehicle, so but the pickup was used to sacrifice for other needs. So I think it's we should leave it up to them.
Other board members? Board of Fireworks Chair?
Yeah, I agree with everything the chief said.
So we are all in agreement so that the ladder truck should not make a return to the town?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, in which we can make that known to Primex, and the logistics of getting it back, and there's some equipment to remove and stuff. And so is it the wishes of the board to pursue, I guess, speccing out a vehicle in with the anticipation that the board will direct Primex to pay for that with the check? Is
Yeah.
that
The board's feelings?
okay?
I would say.
Do you need more of that for Primex in a motion?
Well, I think when we get to, we could do a motion now, if you'd like. And then, from what I understand, is there's a form that they will send you to say that as a legislative body, you would like,
Right away
you're
to get the
directing
form.
them to do this with the money.
I think we ought to wait till we get the form and
Right.
then make it, and then we can sign it all at the same time.
Okay?
Now,
What are you gonna do with the old piece when it comes back? Is Primex gonna take care of it from there, or is it gonna be?
Yep, so we have some equipment to take off it, and then they will salvage it, however it is they're gonna salvage it.
okay.
So, let me understand. Primex is paying a check to whom?
The town.
To the town, right? Not for the,
Well, I think that they'll do it either way. If
well,
the
I'm reading it that I believe it's to,
Right, and so we asked a clarifying question, is that the only way that the check gets dispersed? And so Primex came back and said, and I apologize for not having that. I may have that email. Yeah.
Check comes back to the
And so
town.
Primex wrote back to me, and he says, as we discussed, and I talked to Tom Parrott, and I said, could you just put that in an email so that I could read it to my Board of Selectmen? It says, if you choose not to repair the existing ladder truck, you're welcome to use the funds from the truck damages to purchase another vehicle. We're able to issue payment to the town of Weare or to the dealership where another vehicle is being purchased. If you'd like Primex to issue payment to a dealership directly, we will present an authorization to pay document to you, which gets signed off by the town administrator or the perhaps the chair of the selectmen. And then once that's authorized, they'll
Okay,
pay
this is me
whomever.
personally speaking. I think it should come to the town and the town should purchase it. Instead of a check from Primex going to,
The
for
dealer.
bookkeeping purposes, for auditing trail.
Can we pay for that?
And that's fine,
But
just
it sounds like that's something we certainly,
Well,
can discuss, right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Now that money coming in, where is that gonna go? Because that would be, it's unanticipated revenue, correct? So we can earmark that for fire department, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it coming here.
Right.
I mean, with the purchase, I just want
The town, it's
it
gotta go
coming to
general
the
fund,
town and then going out.
Help.
How did the police purchase
The-
the SUV? Was that, because to me, that's similar
Hmm.
in circumstance where what had been
I
Greg
didn't know any
Began's
purchase
car
was made
Yeah,
that
was
didn't go
totaled,
direct.
but
When we bought the 2013 Explorer,
Mm.
that was because one of the other vehicles had been totaled in the
Right.
incident in South Ware.
But the money didn't come to the town?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out, how that all went
okay.
down.
We don't know.
I'd have to look, we'd
Yeah.
have to look
Have to do
that
I
up.
would just want to clarify that doesn't have to go to the general fund.
Because once it goes
Once it
there,
goes there,
won't
it's
go
never
back.
seen again.
It won't
Well,
come
why
back around.
can't we earmark it?
Well,
As
I don't know.
unanticipated revenue was my thought, but
Hmm.
I would want to clarify.
we'll have to clarify that, so.
Naomi,
But
you'll
it's
look
not
into
like
that,
we
right?
have to do it for tomorrow, so I think we gotta.
Right,
Wait and see.
Right.
What the name of the check.
I just wanted to bring up what my feeling was on it. I just wanted,
no, that's,
Yeah, and like I said, obviously the board is, all in favor of removing the truck from service, but
right.
I just want to make sure that when we, pull the trigger on that money, it doesn't go with the whole, that's all called.
well, that's our concern as well.
Right, so
Yeah.
if we can make that out, then. I guess if we can figure that out, we'll be in good standings.
So I'll be back with more information as a direction that we're headed and
Mhm.
a purchase request.
Did we
Okay.
get any, well, while we have you here, do we get any heads or tails on the air packs? The old ones?
Third world.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
It's only been a week.
Right. I know. I just didn't know. if
We
you-
thought you'd have them on the boat going to China.
It seems like, God,
Yeah.
wasn't that just yesterday? But, yeah.
I think they all be in a case and on a barge.
No, I mentioned it to Dave, so they could be all gone now. I don't know. I know he wants them out of there.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good chief.
All right. On that. Default budget discussion.
Okay. Take one and pass one to your right.
Pass it along.
Okay. This is, it's kind of like a nutshell, you might call it, of, as you know, because of the budget or the default, there's certain things that we have to move around due to, obligations are currently. So if you look at the top, you're gonna start with the police chief, and let's just walk you through the columns.
Yeah.
The first column, is obviously the budgeted amount. The next column, you guys can read, it says obligated amount.
Mhm.
Then there's a deficit of where we came short. And then what we did is the next time, on the other next column, kind of picked up the deficit. And then, I think you can follow it. You guys are also smart enough to follow it. So basically what it did, instead of taking all 14 pages and running down through it, I really,
Pulled the lines.
well, I owe Beth the whole, Beth did it all.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where we cover the difference in
Mm-hmm.
the budget and the, I guess I'll call the obligated amounts. And if you subtract the budget from the default budget, you needed 86,000 and change, and she was able to find 88,000 and change, so we're in the good. But, if you guys, I mean, so we broke it down by like department. You can see that the maroon part is taking it by the departments, meaning the rest of them, provided they stay within their lines of their budget. We didn't seem to print all those sheets out for nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the police department is really covering his own, within his own department. But then if you go down to the next one, assessing, Wendy doesn't have the extra $14,000 for the
Avatar.
assessing contract. So what we did is we tagged some of the difference with the liability insurance. That's where it'll come from. Now, it's not gonna be moved, but that's where it'll come from.
Right.
You know, we aren't gonna move things around.
At the end of the year, it'll look like it's overexpended, but
Correct.
the bottom
Right,
line
the
will
bottom
be,
line.
right.
So this is where you need to know where things are gonna come from. So then you get to our office, between the contract, my contract, the auditor's expense, and what we did is we covered, some of mine with the difference in the auditor's expense, and then again, we tagged some more out of the
Liability.
insurance line. Then the bigger problem we had was the secretarial part with having to come up somewhere to pay for the 20 hours. Because 20 hours is in budget, Benji's, and 20s wasn't ours. So if you follow it down through, it is a lot of line items, but it all works out. So the selectman's office, we needed, we were deficit of $16,338 for wages. So then if you go down through, also you have to take the Medicare, the FICA, and the retirement. Okay, so then the wages for the budgeted amount for part-time, and he only needs, because of the hire, Mary did it for some of the year, there's some one-time allocation from that. So you guys can follow that down through. Same thing all the way down, and you got the health office, the welfare, the town mailer, town report, there was a few dollars, and again, we snagged a little bit more from the liability property. Then you get down to Benji, and Benji, we snagged a little bit more from the general liability property liability. As you can see, the hauling, and we took some of it from monitoring wells to give him back, and then but that was within his own line. And then we took from the liability another $640 and another $3150. Are we following? Okay. So then when you get down to legal, if you remember right, we were off by 10. So we snagged the other 10, another 10 from the property liability. Does that make a world of sense?
Yeah.
I think you have to study it a little bit, and then you might have to pull out the larger pages. But, I mean, Beth did a lot of time of how do we do this so that you focused on the difference in the two. And the difference in the two is this is where we really had to come up. Everybody else's really were proposed was the same as default. They have to stay within their budget, but proposed and default were the same. There was some within, I'll call it the building, like one light bill was lower than the other light bill. You know what I mean? But light bills in general, we just have to stay budgeted or within our budgets. So I think this is probably confusing for you to look at first, but I think you understand how we came through where we came to and showed you where we've covered. Unless you want to see them differently, but there was no way of printing 14 sheets when you can see it at one.
Right.
I'm a visual
No, this is fine
on one sheet.
with me anyways.
So on those lines are going to stay there, but think of where you're taking it from. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to see the salaries over for the chief and the other contracts, but in the bottom line,
It'll
this
equal
is
out.
where it's going to be spread from.
Right. Right, and right, wrong, or indifferent, or wherever side you stand on the default budget, we were presented a challenge, and this is our solution to the challenge.
Yeah, and one of the things, I know we wanted to get to trying to find some money for the custodian. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tight.
Yeah.
You look at, we talked about 86 versus 88. The other thing that's not in the budget, and I will go back and speak with the cleaning people, is nobody's cleaning that new highway department. because it was in proposed non-default. So I'm gonna just see if there's a way we can try to balance whether a day here to go down there. I just don't wanna see that go downhill.
No.
But we had budgeted $1,920, but default was 0.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time, I'd like to see it, sit down with her and tell her the dilemma, but also sit down if we could work something out. There, you know what I mean? I'd like to work something out. I guess I'm gonna, before I ask, I wanna talk with her before saying anything more.
Right, and highway, I think, is it's kind of be a wild card this year, only because of the fact of the numbers are gonna change because of the building.
Yeah,
Some
my
are
point is to
some-
keep the darn thing clean.
Right, but what I'm saying is
Sorry.
but budgetarily, it's
I'll
gonna
clean
be,
my
it's gonna
own
be-
desk and take out my own trash
Right.
if that's what it's gotta
Right.
be.
But
I'm just saying, it's not there, and
budgetarily, it's gonna be a wild card because we don't know where we're gonna end up
Mhm.
with a newer building. So,
Right.
You know, we could end up way on the black, could we end up way on the red? We don't know. I'm hoping to be on the other side. But.
I do too, but I think the bottom line is, you got to keep, it
Right,
generates dust
it's a brand new
itself.
vehicle. It's a brand new vehicle, brand new facility. You have to
Right.
keep it. You know,
Well, I don't have
Yeah.
a problem
There has
with
to be
that.
upkeep.
I have a problem with, what are they supposed to be doing in cleaning?
Well, that's what, I wanna sit down, there's days they go to the town hall, but as Beth and I had a conversation, people pay to use the town hall and they're given a list to pick up behind themselves, they should.
Mhm.
I shouldn't have to send someone over there to clean after them.
Right.
Right, no, but what are they
But-
supposed to clean here? The bubbler,
Well, that's kinda what I wanted, to just sit down and just get a list of things as to what is done here and what's done at the town hall, cause the
Right.
town hall is part of it.
Yeah.
And also, let's branch out a little further and see what's happening. Bob doesn't have cleaning on his side, they have station duties on their side, and there's a cleaning company, same cleaning company on the police side. So again, what is all happening in all the buildings, and let's see if we can move things around a little bit.
and maybe not just moving things around, maybe putting it out to bid. We never, to my knowledge, that
Yeah.
cleaning wasn't put out to bid.
No, but I've heard all the complaints only at this table about how dirty the building is. But I'm just saying, and I'm just saying, we can clean up after ourselves too. I'm not saying that we can.
No, but, on the same token, if we were gonna we wanted to have janitorial services so we could get some other things done too. The bugs and the light things.
That's never been done in 23 years since I've been here. The bugs are always in the lights.
But I thought we
You
were
know,
gonna.
it doesn't mean that they can't be done now.
That's
Naomi.
correct.
Right.
That's correct.
Right, but on the other side of it too is
Yeah, I know.
we could bid it, but is there gonna be financial commitment enough to do it?
What do you mean?
Is there gonna be enough financial commitment within the budget that we have been presented for the year?
Well, we won't know that until we bid it and see how somebody else may do it for less money, I don't know.
Right.
What are they getting paid an hour now to clean?
It's by the month.
And how many hours are they actually here, Naomi?
I run into him a couple times in the morning if time changes, because
Right.
she's got kids.
Right.
But
I've
I don't
come in
know.
here
And that's
I don't
what I
even- I
think
don't
we
know
need
what
to
it
See
is.
them in the
start.
afternoon at the
She's
police
been here
station.
on Saturdays when I've been.
and Sundays when I've been here. Yeah.
I've
But
seen
I'm
them
just
at the
saying,
police
it's a
station at all
start
hours.
to sit down and see what is being done, what time is being spent,
Yep.
and explain the situation of a brand-new building with nobody cleaning it.
Right, and I think if we get that information from Naomi after her chat, I think that we can make a better, synopsis on where we gotta go with as far as bidding and or what kind of job description we need to put out there.
That's just, I totally get it. The other thing is, as far as janitorial, we have people here during the day, and the code enforcement, if there's something that somebody sees, they can tell me. You know what I mean? I know they don't go to other buildings, but if there's something in this building that's a problem,
Yeah.
then it would be nice to know, and
See something, say something.
yeah, that's what we learned last week.
That's right. So,
But I'm just, I totally get it, and don't get me wrong, I'm also totally picking up after myself too, for a part of it. There just isn't a lot of movement there, we have 10 hours,
right.
And I can do all that, and I can ask, and I can put it out to bid again, and go from there.
Yeah.
you know.
So am I to understand we don't want any janitorial services, is that?
No, I
No, no.
don't, that's not at all, but I think we need to evaluate what is being done now for the money that we're paying, the service that comes in
Right.
for cleaning,
Okay.
evaluate where we have, what that person does, hours committed, and financial commitment, and then we need to evaluate where we want to go from there with that.
Okay.
So I think it's a topic for a future discussion.
Right, I mean, I know we had a mouse down here for a
Yep.
while. I mean, maybe the janitor might have seen
And
that.
it sounds like there's a
or-
window open, so, is there a window open?
I keep hearing, I was looking because I can hear the
Yeah,
water
it's
running,
just like
dripping.
it's open.
Yeah, don't worry about him, we don't need a lot.
No, but it sounds like it's open.
No, I know, it
That's
sounds
how
like it's
loud
open,
it
it sounds like
is.
this one's open, but I don't believe it is.
Is the storm window outside open, or is there, is that what we're hearing?
Soft open.
Oh, I was gonna say, I could hear it louder than,
Yeah, I could hear it too. I kept looking because I thought it
well, I
was,
kept thinking it's not even cold in here, cause I'm having, I'm sweating.
Is that better?
yeah,
Don't hear it.
right. It
I was gonna
wasn't
say.
closed tight.
All
Now it's
right,
getting too
that
hot
makes
here.
me feel better. No, it was hot before.
Right.
I mean, Jan, you bring up a very good point. I think we should just see what is being done in
Right.
all of the places and what we're
make a
paying.
better picture
And
of
see
what
what we can do, if there's a movement, if there's,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, to make a better picture of what that person.
yeah,
that
I
we
just
may
think
hire
it's,
may actually
Somebody
do.
should be over there at least a couple hours a week going through and cleaning the bathrooms and
at the,
highway.
Here.
Here, there. Any further discussion on the default budget?
you know, and I'll see what her schedule is. She does have small kids. Next week's
Yep.
school vacation. I'll do my best. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say I'll come back next Monday with it, but I'll reach out to her and see when we can sit down.
I just have one question here. We took out of the selectman's office, we took some stuff out of the highway, we took stuff out of the police department, but we didn't touch fire. Was there some reason why we didn't touch anything there? Or they don't have any money?
Oh, she did.
Well, this is all the stuff that was, they stayed
Yeah.
within their default.
Right,
So,
the police stayed within theirs, and I believe the fire department,
Yeah.
default and proposed, was gonna stay within theirs,
Yeah,
within a
just-
few dollars,
Yeah,
but,
I think these were larger, big ticket items.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
we
Right.
knew, but even the police department, even though there were some larger ticket items that
Yeah.
were brought up during the open session, we just wanted to make sure to let you know they were addressed. But it's addressed within his budget.
right. And that general liability line, that 520 was a considerable,
It was $47,000.
exactly different, so that sucked up a lot of
Yeah.
the difference.
Now, we still have the health trust fund,
Yeah,
the savings there, that's still,
but that
That'll come back to about
that
what?
comes July. That comes into play, but we
Right.
didn't play with it now
right,
because
no, I know.
everything is.
But I just
But
was
everything's
making
stays the
sure
same.
that it was, that it was,
Yeah. That is coming back eventually.
Well, it's
now, do we
reduced.
have to
Yeah.
vote on this? Should we vote on this?
I don't know that you have to vote on it. I think you wanted information
Yeah,
as
it's
to,
a
you
bottom
know,
line number, so.
the town voted on the
Town
default.
voted on it,
months-
yeah.
No, I
a
know,
month
but
ago.
I
Yeah.
didn't know if we wanted to vote to.
No, I just think what you need to do is this needs to be kept with you, just
Yeah, for
because
information.
as it was indicated, you're not gonna, these aren't being swapped.
Right.
It's just gonna be, that's where we talked earlier, where earmark
Yeah.
funds are coming
This is
from.
basically what I was referring to tonight,
Right. Yep. Mhm. No, I think that's great.
earlier.
All right. Some more committee reappointments.
Lisa, where else that, do you need anything more for Beth?
I
The
think
box
we're
is
good.
all that 3 signatures, Beth. No, you can stay. I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, push you out the door.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, we didn't tell you to leave.
You don't have to.
back here.
I mean, if you want to stay, be our guest. No?
I was gonna do it.
I checked already.
thanks, Beth.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Yeah.
Good job.
Lisa Purington Gurlian is a alternate for the Conservation Commission. She was on before. It would be a 3-year reappointment. She's,
If they don't have members enough, why is she just an
I don't think she wants,
She, because of it's my understanding, she's got small children, so the commitment,
To be a
she
full-
wanted to be upfront, and the commitment is the kids, but if she knew in advance somebody was out of town and they couldn't hold a meeting, she could work the schedule to come. But she wants to remain an alternate.
Entertain a motion?
Make a motion, we reappoint Lisa Purrington Jolan to the Conservation Committee for 3 years as an alternate.
Second. Moving seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Tom McCarthy. Tom McCarthy is saying he's an alternate to the trustees of the trust fund. That only has 3 people, and that's actually, those are full. He stays on because there was times when they didn't have a quorum.
so he's an alternate.
He's an
also.
alternate as well.
Entertain a motion?
Make a motion, we reappoint Thomas McCarthy to the trustee of the trust fund as an alternate for 3 years.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one we have to question.
Heavily.
Suspicious.
Suspicious person.
Sherry, you don't have to go on the other side. Sherry also went to conservation the other night, sat in on their meeting, and she's looking to help them out as well. Here's her form. Conservation for 3 years, but that would be a regular member.
As a citizen, as an ex officio.
That's correct.
Right.
Yep.
I move that we appoint Sherry Burdick to a 3-year term, or 3-year,
Mm-hmm.
on the Conservation Commission.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstention?
The only thing I would ask is, Maureen's gonna need you guys to be sworn in.
Yeah.
So,
Come in sometime during the week.
she's in here Wednesdays or sometime during regular office hours, if you could stop by, and she can swear you in.
Yeah.
And that brings you down to minutes.
Meeting minutes.
4249, as John pointed out, got sent out at like 4:30.
So 4-9 we can table.
Yeah.
I gotta find it. No, wrong one. Technology's firing up. There we go. April 2nd meeting minutes. Anything on page 1?
I don't know what I did with my.
I brought, you had a second set printed earlier today.
No, I know, but I just took a lot of stuff and moved it all around. And I don't know what I did with it. Go ahead. you guys
Most of it's
do
just
it.
formalities anyways, about going back and forth, non-public, so. Page 2,
Yeah, on the department head committee items, first, towards the end of the first sentence, first he stated
No.
that he wants to start by apologizing. You take the word that first and about out.
mm-hmm.
Should be, yeah, and I think, should it be out instead of about?
I'll just take that.
Just take it,
First
just
he
take it, just
stated
take it, omit it.
First he stated,
I think that's what I have.
He wants
He
to.
wants to wants to start by apologizing.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Anything else on page 2? Page 3,
well, Chief Kelly stated that some few weeks ago. That doesn't sound right either. On the retainer agreement. Some weeks ago.
yeah. That,
Take few out.
anything else on page 2?
Who's doing these minutes?
Oh boy. Page 3, page 4, Page 5. Six. And 7.
You guys can read them one week.
Entertain a motion?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as corrected for 4/2 of 18.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions?
Can we just, 1 second, I would like to just ask for, on the reappointment part. We, was sent a letter from, Southern Hampshire Planning Commission, because we have 2 reps. And Wendy Stevens was our rep and it expired in 2018, and she had sent me an email. She's not interested in being one of Weare's representatives for the Southern Hampshire Planning. So just want you to, I guess we'll put out there if anyone's interested in doing that, to let us know. I think they meet monthly in Manchester at about 11 o'clock at the commission.
Who's that other representative?
Angela Drake?
Yes.
Angela
Yes,
Drake.
yeah, she's the other one.
Yeah.
So just if you know of anybody, and I'll make sure and mention it, that we're looking for someone to be a representative, but it does meet in the morning at the commission, I think monthly. So
Monthly, great. Okay.
4/9 next week.
Sounds good. Manifest. I
There's 3
move,
signatures on everything.
I move to order the treasurer to sign the payroll accounts payable checks dated April 19th, 2018, as included in the following manifest. Payroll manifest of $56,243, weekly payroll. Accounts payable manifest $23,987.42, and a supplemental accounts payable manifest $64,042.85, for a total this week of $144,273.27. Is there a second?
Second.
On the supplemental, that's the 66, right?
64.
Yep.
Do you know what the change order was for that we got the?
You got the credit for? Yeah,
credit.
it was, what they did is they gave us back credit for the amount that we paid for Bruce as the clerk of the works, and the invoices that we paid for Harry Weatherby for the soil testing.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? There it is. All right, administrator's report.
First thing I want to do is, I didn't get a chance to send it to you, but I gave you tonight a new revision of the purchasing policy, which has the change on the back for signature, and it also talked in section 8 of the paragraph A on page 3 of 8, after the budget, I put a semicolon, you wanted a comma, but however, not to exceed $2,000 for vehicle and equipment repairs.
Did we want to alter that?
Yes. It's been brought to my attention that the word equipment is kind of ambiguous. So I'd like to make a motion that we take that word out.
So just not to exceed 2,000 for
for
vehicle repairs, period.
Yes.
I had a new page too, but I did it for equipment, not vehicles. I did it the opposite of what you said.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So you're gonna give us a new page to go in here?
Yeah, can you adopt it, and I can give you a new 3 and a 4? So, John, your motion was to remove
the word and equipment.
and equipment.
We just need one signature sheet, I want the whole thing.
No, I just need one. I got one here. I got a clean one.
Thanks, I think we had a clean one here.
Yeah, I got just the back page. I haven't stapled it back together. Because I thought I was gonna be a smart one. Except I had the wrong word used.
And again, this is a.
So you're gonna adopt it?
Yeah.
As a whole?
It's a working policy, it can be changed as we see fit. It's already been amended, it was adopted in 2008 and it's been amended 3 times, so. It can be, again, as the needs of the town change, we may change the policy, and that goes for a lot of other policies as well too, as we grow and as we move. So, do we need a motion for that?
I would think you would just have a motion to adopt the amended purchasing policy.
Move to accept and adopt the amended purchasing policy of 4/16/2018.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay, that's coming down your way. I do need you to also undermine, Mary is doing the welfare duties, but we need to appoint her. So we just need a motion to appoint Mary as the welfare director.
So moved, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now head on to my list that I gave you guys.
What's this?
The,
That's,
the building list takes up half the paper,
Mhm.
now that we've added everything to it. There hasn't been a lot of change since we last talked. I will share in your email, I got an email from JP Pest.
yeah.
I shared it with all of you, I just want you to review it, I'm not looking for an answer. Review it and let's have a conversation on next week. The ServPro, I don't know if they were closed today, I got the answering service, because I still don't have a fax or
Some
could be.
anything from them.
Yeah, some places they took Patriots Day as a
Patriots Day.
holiday.
Oh, I
Patriots
didn't
Day
think it
pass.
was a holiday today, so I
It's
guess.
not, but if they're in mass, it
Okay,
is.
well,
This,
that could be too.
the JP Pest Services, that is for that's the contract for yearly management.
It would be, yeah, to come in and shoo out our friends that are not paying rent.
Right.
Which
And
is,
it just, it covers ants, cockroaches, mice, rats,
Mhm.
insects, stinging insects.
We don't like them.
So it gives you a monthly, but, just read through it. I honestly haven't had a chance to read through it.
The only thing I can think would be change would be the customer signature, that's all. I think it probably should be the
Oh.
board chair,
Yeah,
that's all.
Trust me.
That's all.
trust me, that's minor.
It is minor, but,
The safety complex does it quarterly, but
Yep.
that building's a lot newer than this one.
Yep.
They have a quarterly JP Pest service that comes,
So it's,
have we had problems?
yes.
just at one time.
So why don't we do it quarterly?
But we do, I will say there's rat droppings everywhere, and when we moved file cabinets upstairs, they had a picnic, and they must have had a party behind the file cabinets. There was wrappers and papers and you name it
Oh.
behind the,
Yeah, they need to come.
and
here
there's
more.
droppings everywhere.
Target, clean them out.
There was some candles, open candles, and in the droppings in the candles.
They had a party.
they didn't like the
So
sun.
I'm just
invite
saying,
us.
I think if we get them out, because I'm hoping they moving out, but they might not make it outside, because we had one. But just, I mean, I'd like you to look through it, and I think if we could just initially get them out and keep them out.
Right.
We've all set up a little bit of,
Mm-hmm.
bait.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably part of the.
So what's the,
problem.
what's the monthly contract price? Is it down at the bottom here, payment?
It's
I
on
didn't
the back.
honestly, I think it's on the
Is this it
very,
right here?
I believe per service would be the $85.
it's 85%.
Every time they come out, it's 85.
85 bucks, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we do it for a year that now and clean house, maybe we can go to quarterly afterwards?
Yeah, it looks like the first time they come visit, there's the 278 and 132, and then
Yeah.
every month after that, it's
Yeah, but then you could go to quarterly. If there's no
Right.
findings, go to quarterly.
Yeah, or
Right.
in 6 months down the road, if they're in here every
Yeah.
month doing it.
Yeah.
all right. So let's take the week to review that.
Yeah, please
Yeah.
do, and then,
Yeah, all
We'll
right.
come back.
the
next week.
gentleman's going on vacation this week
Even
anyway,
better.
so it's not even,
Yeah.
so, next week. Like I said, I have reached out to someone about reglazing. They're gonna come and get a key on Wednesday and go over and actually look at the windows before the yes or no, or tell me how much. So that'll happen this week. I'm not sure what the project will be there. I don't know, have you been able to reach?
I called again. I haven't got a call back. Well,
Okay.
unless it came today. I wasn't even in the house. I didn't check the phone, so.
Okay, well,
I came back and I was at the house 5 minutes and right back out the door.
okay.
So-
All right, well, there's still projects here that,
Yeah.
as we know, are being
Yeah.
worked on. The noise ordinance, there was a question about that. What I did is there was 4 sets of minutes that I gave you guys, all 4 sets,
Where is that?
just to bring some of you up to date, if you wanna take them and read them in your
Spare
in your
time.
leisure.
Oh, right
Purchasing
here.
policy we adopted tonight.
That's all they had was 4 minutes?
There's 4 sets on the website.
Okay.
Hawkers and peddlers, Sean will be in on, financials, you get those, and you just went over some part of the financials. Hawkers and peddlers is on for April 30th with Sean. Sherry, have you seen that yet?
No.
You guys wanna resend, I'll resend to you, so it's fresh in your inbox.
Yeah.
Custodial position, I think we had that discussion during default.
Mhm.
We can
Yep.
move along.
Yep.
The tax deeded property, Jan, you handed around something? Did you wanna discuss the spreadsheet you handed out, or just leave it for next week's discussion?
We're talking about next week.
Tax deeded?
Whatever your pleasure.
Talk
Well, no,
about it next week.
we can do it next week?
Yeah, we
Okay.
can do it next week.
All right, no, that's fine.
I mean, I have it all right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Project.
It's scheduled for a work session on 4/23.
I just have a question. Have we checked with the legal counsel yet on the evictions or?
Well, I have to get her a list of, does this tell me who's in houses?
No.
Yes, some.
Well, we don't know who's in houses? I mean, I don't know. I put question marks here.
But
mean,
at
these-
least these are the ones that are residents. Right,
They have homes on them.
right.
Yes.
So those are the ones we
Well,
can
the
inquire about.
top ones, where it starts in the middle of the page with 101-939, that's land only, all of that. That's right of ways.
So
Okay,
we're not,
so-
we're
but
not
the
in,
ones on the top, but New Road, which is, property that's down below me, I don't know if there's anybody living there. I mean, now, when the tax deed is done, our tax deeding is done in July of this year, what do? Doesn't somebody, don't we evict them? Or don't we take
I would
that
think so.
process? I mean, what's been done?
At this point,
Nothing.
nothing, but we would have to do
honestly, at this
that.
point, nothing.
Any-
Okay, so now this
if we know
property
people
has
living
been
there.
vacant since 2017.
Which one are we looking at?
Yeah,
Actually,
on-
34 New Road.
4 New Road, okay.
Okay, I mean, are the pipes frozen? And has
No.
anybody gone in there and,
Well, 1131 has no copper. Copper was all stolen.
what's that?
1131 River Road, but you already noted that.
I found that out from, I believe it was Beth that told me that the copper's gone, and
Yeah, they broke into.
they were having drunk parties in there
Oh, good.
at one time.
11:31, yeah.
So I think this is what we need to discuss next week, but again, I think if those are the ones, obviously nobody's in that one, but the possibility of the top one, 410044,
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
occupied.
they're definitely
Right.
occupied.
then, and 411042,
Right.
I mean, if we know what those are, then yeah, we can definitely start the process. But it looks like, obviously all the right of ways are not, the land is not.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's only, maybe 3 or 4 that we need to really inquire about as far as getting the process started. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're absolutely right, but, every single one of us is responsible for this on this board. If anybody gets hurt in these buildings.
I know, that's what I'm saying. No, and
Right now, I mean, that's the way it is.
I understand that. No. But what I'm saying is these ones you have question marks to
Yeah,
on the
I have no
occupied,
idea if
unoccupied.
anybody's there.
Those are the ones we need to inquire about.
Mm-hmm,
Obviously, if we go on to you, we know what that one's not. But,
right.
but continuing down, then we need to go from there. So,
Yep.
Well, we could just do a Saturday ride around.
yeah, at this point, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't wanna go on the property, I mean, I don't,
Yeah, well, it is our property, though. Theoretically, it's indeed to the town.
yeah, it is, but I
So-
don't know if anybody'd be waiting with a,
Yeah, that's true, too.
Well, have
and
a police officer
especially I
come there.
speak of that on
The top one.
the one that says, the second one that's occupied.
Oh, okay. Oh, 411042.
Yeah, actually, she's gonna tell you that's a bigger problem than you think.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
But that's also 10 acres, you can't do anything
We
with.
can't sell it this year
Right, you
anyway,
can't
but
go-
the
it has
thing
to go
is
to town meeting.
to evict
Well.
the person.
Yeah, that's yeah, you know what one that is.
We don't need
Oh.
the liability of anybody
Right.
living there.
Right, so, I mean, that can be its own entity.
In the
Well, you said
description, did that come from the property card?
No, I got that from Chip.
No, I just was trying to figure out where.
Am I correct? Is it correct?
Well, I don't think you,
What?
my personal opinion, I don't think you should deem anything unbuildable.
Yeah.
Say,
In this
say
town?
what?
Nothing should be deemed unbuildable.
I don't think we should be writing unbuildable per town. Why are we gonna
Oh,
sell
wait
it
a
if it's
minute. No, wait a
unbuildable?
second. Where are you?
On the
On the
second
page two?
Yeah.
Oh, that was on the card.
Non-buildable
Okay.
slope.
I just, yeah.
Okay.
Everything I did was from the, I thought you meant the one that I was talking to him about.
No.
Okay.
Alright, well, again, I think that's discussion for next week.
Yeah, we can have a bigger
Session.
discussion.
Yep.
I do have all
Should we take a
copies of
map
all the
and
cards.
color it though?
What's
What?
that?
Should we take a map and color it?
Yeah, that part wouldn't hurt,
Yeah,
at least to know where these
Get the
properties are,
crayons.
as far as that.
yeah.
Yeah.
At least the ones, especially the ones with houses.
Mhm.
'Cause I think those we really want to work on.
And we need to know where they are. Right,
Yeah. I mean, I know where quite a few of them are, but
right, same here.
The last page two cannot be sold, all of these.
That's, okay, those ones we can't touch.
Right.
Okay.
those
I
are the
mean-
right-of-ways, right?
No,
No,
there's too much land for,
there's too much land, but, in a lot of cases, it's like class 6, they don't, one that's in Hopkinton abuts to something else, it's out in the middle of the woods or something like that, so, I mean, I don't,
right, yep, gotcha. Okay. Anything further, Naomi?
Well, no, I'm just
What's
looking a
this?
little further.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the next section.
Okay. The hazard mitigation plan, I don't know if the rest of you had a chance to read through it and get back to Janet or Sherry with your
Yeah, I haven't heard
comments or
from anybody.
concerns. All right, so that must be okay, no news is good news?
I don't know. Did everyone read it?
I think some of it,
Some
Did
of it,
everyone read it?
some of it,
I haven't
it's a
read all
big
of it.
document,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of pages.
It's a lot of
Sherry did
pages.
one morning.
I did it one whole morning.
I fall asleep.
And then, I mean, so we need to do that sooner than later. If you guys have no issue, just let them know that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to.
Because we're gonna quiz you next week.
There's another email on there with regards to, I think, came from Laura regarding the camera project you guys have been
Oh.
asking about.
Yep.
It's just a single sheet.
And they haven't backed out, have they?
I don't know that. I've sent an email to the gentleman
Thank
to
you.
see.
This
Yep.
is for the police department?
Yeah,
Correct.
and then,
Now, how
so,
come we don't have, can I ask one question? How come we don't have camera system here?
mm-mm.
Why not? I mean, what
Never
if
have.
somebody comes in? I mean, I remember once we had the glass windows and stuff in here for
Yeah.
Maureen and stuff, because there was an issue in another town.
panic buttons.
I don't know, I'm just saying, you
Yeah,
know,
no, we've,
if you had an issue.
Long as I've been
you'd
here.
have it on, you'd
Well,
have it
it might-
legally on tape.
It might not hurt to have one, you know, at the entrance and whatever.
yeah, it's a dead giveaway.
2 or 3. Yeah, if it doesn't work, yeah.
It
But-
doesn't matter.
But no, but at the end of the
No,
day,
we've
Say-
never, honestly,
Yeah.
we've never
Right.
had them here.
right, it could.
I do
it-
remember the glass.
Yeah, I know, I'm just thinking
That was a
it might
long
not
time
be a
ago.
bad idea to have
Yeah.
it.
2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, and I don't think it would be a bad idea to have them probably something at the library, maybe something at the
Mhm.
Stone Building. I mean,
It
if
might
there
be
was
a-
ever a break-in,
at least you'd have a
Well, the
picture
thing
or
is,
something.
what are you're gonna have it monitored on location or the tape, or you're
well,
gonna
you
have
can
it
have it go
monitored
to a
offsite?
cloud. You can go to cloud.
Then there'd be,
That's the things you look
could be
at.
financial commitment as far as,
Yeah,
you know,
you
the
look at
install. I'm sure the yearly maintenance would be next to nothing, but,
Nothing.
right, other than a service contract with
Mhm.
a cloud or something like that, but you have some money.
I don't
Put it
know,
up.
we've honestly, I've never seen any or talked about any cameras. I know there's, some exist, but the wires are cut and they're turned the other direction.
I just think it's
There it
for
is.
They
the
do.
town, it's a good security.
Yeah,
thing.
it's definitely, yeah. It probably reflect well on our insurance.
Yeah, it may make your insurance go down, actually.
Right.
It's something to look into.
One more thing.
There you go.
And then, Article 27, I put something on the website.
right.
I gave Sherry something,
Yeah.
gave you all what.
Yeah.
That's posted at the post office, it's posted out front here. It's going on cable. If it's not, I don't have cable, I can't check.
Okay.
It's on the website, and Mike's gonna put it in his newsletter. That's a start.
Right.
It's
And
a
then,
start.
and then anybody here that has any connection with another committee
Right.
can make a copy and,
Yep.
Right.
And Friday, I won't be here Friday.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Okay. Before we start correspondence, I just, observation over the last couple of weeks, we've kind of gotten, with the correspondence of the business, we've kind of gotten sidetracked. It turns into a coffee social hour, for no better terms. So if we could just keep it concise and to the point, be great. So is there any correspondence or other business? I know I got a couple things, but I'll open the board.
Two things. One of them is the Duck Pond Road culverts. The road was, I was down there today, and I talked to the road agent, or highway superintendent, and he knows about it. It's washing down the side of the road on the upper part, just above the post office, and coming right down the side of the road because the beavers have got that pipe going under 114 blocked, and then the pipe coming under Duck Pond, and it's washing in behind that down the side of the road into the culvert and across towards the bank. I know that Mr. Brown came in and spoke about the fact that the pond was down and there was not that vegetation growing in it, but at this point now
We've gone the other way.
We've gone the other way. The road agent was asked not to, to try and contact the state to not have them clearing it. And I think now we've got to
do it.
we've got to get, and I think that we should
We've got to make it contact
direct him
to
to
get it
let
done.
him do that, so we don't end up losing that road, because it was coming right out in the road and it keeps getting that way. We're gonna, if we got all rain today, it would have probably taken a good chunk of the road instead of the snow.
Yep.
So, I think that's something that we probably ought to look at and tell
Yep. I would
them
agree.
to do that.
Now, are you gonna look at it, or you want me to ask
Oh, no,
Benji? What
it's
do
got
you?
to be,
I think
it's got
Benji
to
ought
be,
to, he's looked at it, he knows there's an issue, and he knows that it's gonna
needs to be
be,
done,
get worse instead of
unfortunately.
better, so.
I spoke to Ben the other day, because I had noticed it when I was at the post office, and I happened to be up the house, and I saw it, and I just said, I just was watching a show on TV, and they actually put a pipe down low where they build their dam, and they have a end on it, and you can take it off, and the beavers don't go back up on top, because it's not coming over the top, and there's no water there. They just open it up and drain it for a couple of days, and then they put the end back on.
and that's something. I mean,
Yeah.
but I think that the state's always been kind of in
The-
charge of that.
The one up on
Because of
it's
the-
state right away, so they have to do it.
No, well, I don't know, I thought,
It's
what-
in the state right away. I had
It-
that discussion with them today. The one on 114's the state's, and so is the one that's within there right away at the bottom of Duck Pond,
yeah,
so.
yeah, but I think there was an issue with, didn't Mr. Brown come in and say?
He didn't want them,
He didn't
to
want
pull
the
'em because
state
it was
pull 'em,
dropped.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
But-
dropping the level too far.
but
yeah.
if we don't do
Well,
them, we're gonna have a problem.
right.
Either one of them, I mean,
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I think maybe not completely destroy everything they have, but it's got to be some of it's got to be
they'll
removed
build
because it's
it, they'll
gotta,
build it back up in a
Yeah.
couple days, so.
Oh,
they're-
right. Exactly.
But
So
I'm
take
just
it out
saying,
and
if we're
rebuild.
gonna pull it down, maybe I can make a copy of that thing about the pipe
Well,
work that they're
They
using.
do pipes, but I know there's been, and I've been involved in some of that heavily, that some of that you have to get permits for. You have to be
I
permitted
don't
for,
know.
because now
Right.
you're in the wetlands, and you have to,
Right.
you're putting something else in the water, and it's just like getting a
Yeah.
permit for the culvert, so.
And to me, that's
Yeah, it came
to me
off the
that's one
state
less thing we
website, there
don't need to
wasn't
be
anything
dealing with.
about permits
Yeah.
in there.
Well, yeah.
But I can bring it in and Norma can make copies for everyone and
So,
have it next week and give a
Yeah.
copy to Ben if you want, whatever.
But I think we ought to direct them to do
Yeah.
something now instead
yeah,
of later.
absolutely.
because
I would like to have him
Yeah.
get a hold
We'll
of
lose-
the state,
Before we lose the
whether it's,
road.
whether it's DES or whether it's
It'd be highway.
whoever, DOT.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've got a
DOT would
crew
do
that
it.
comes out, and
Yeah.
it is. It's way over the top. I was looking at it when I was coming down here. It's that elevation's pretty high. That
Yeah,
water, I
now
have
it's
to say.
coming
Yeah,
out through the
yeah,
woods.
it's this far over the road height now. Yeah. So
Then the other one I had is, I don't know who else got the correspondence. I got a letter from,
you and I got that.
we got it.
We're the only ones that got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to share that
Just
today.
so that one, that has to get forwarded back to the
Planning board. Yeah.
It's without
Yeah.
outside of us, and that came from Sheila,
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About,
Yeah.
She's called me.
There was an email
Back
to
along.
myself and the vice chair about the industrial park on North Riverdale and
Jennifer Lane.
Jennifer Lane. And
And I spoke to the building inspector again about that, and he's
on it.
on it.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that was where we're, there's a course of action now, and there was concern about former activities that took place on North Riverdale, and current activities taking
I
place on
can read it
Jennifer
if
Lane.
you'd like, I have it.
Yeah.
It just says, I wanted to email my complaint versus mailing, as I have too many pictures to show regarding property at 10 North Riverdale Road, also known as Gary Rimelard's Industrial Park. There have been many unregistered and inoperative vehicles on this property for years, as my pictures will show, sitting on the dirt, not pavement, and probably leaking oils and whatever else through the ground to our aquifer. He's moved some of the vehicles, as you can see, some 6 years later to under the power lines, as you will see on my last photo, right next to the river and a vernal pool. This area is not zoned for a junkyard, but as commercial. As a neighbor to this property where my drinking water could very well be affected from years of having these junk vehicles kept there, I'd like to see soil testing and water testing done. Please notify me of your resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I can't capture the date on the newest photo, but if you Google Earth 11 Jennifer Lane, you'll see where he transferred many of his vehicles. Sheila Cleveland. So there's pictures attached from Google Earth.
Yeah.
That you forwarded to me, and I can forward those so you can look at the pictures, but I think the soil testing can be a condition from the planning board approval if it gets to approval process.
Yeah, and as far as I know, Gary always had his dealer license, or Jeff did, so it wasn't like it was a junk. It was a used truck. He was a
And
used truck
repair
dealer
facility,
and
yeah.
repair
And
facility,
they do
so
have dealer
it was
plates.
never a junkyard.
It still does have dealers down there,
Right.
and
So that's where
some of those were,
There's a lot.
a lot of the stuff that
It's
Jennifer
gone.
Lane is not Gary's, it's Jeff's.
it's Jeff's, right?
Yeah,
so I
so
think there's a little
that's-
confusion on
it wasn't-
who's got what.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
So, but like I said, that was a piece of correspondence that myself and
The other
vice
thing,
chair got.
the other thing I'd just like to bring up is, I don't know that you're aware of this, but if there is stuff running in to the water there, if there's stuff going in, which we don't know at this point, Goffstown uses that river, that's part of their water system
That's
for
what
the
they
town of
that's what
Goffstown.
they just said.
Yeah, I think that's
Oh,
what,
they said that?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
part of the water source in the vernal pool.
In the
Okay.
aquifer. Yeah.
So maybe Goffstown might want to be notified, depending on what you,
I mean, it's been there for
water
years,
testing.
but yeah, if we're gonna start water testing, maybe we just let them know
Yeah,
if that's something that we.
But that's
decide to
something
do.
that the planning board takes.
planning
Right.
board
With
takes
it.
that over.
Right.
Yeah, and then, I mean, yeah, you'd have to do the water testing, but then you'd have to water test everything else up and down along that stretch, so.
Right.
You know,
But again, that revolves back to the planning board
planning board, yeah.
at this point. So
The other thing, because that was put in place, I don't know what year that was put in place, that, the buildings that are down
Yep.
there now, but,
Late 70s, some of those buildings have been in there, because I've been down there, some of the metal buildings, the original buildings, I've been down there in the late 70s, early 80s, they were in there.
but what I thought was kind of funny is that's been zoned commercial. It's sitting right on the river. I don't understand. Is there any other zoning in Weare on the river that we should be thinking that shouldn't be there? Because, you know, they put the garage in North Weare, that should have probably never gone in there either.
Oh, the one that we used?
Yeah.
yeah,
That should have
it's
never
close.
gone in right on top of the river.
Right.
And I don't know if there's any other stuff in the zoning.
It would
stuff
it would
mainly.
revolve back to zoning.
They'd have to
Yeah,
go
I'd
back
have
into
to-
zoning, and
yeah.
they'll have to make adjustments for that.
I
See,
think,
if it was done in the
Bring it forward.
70s, zoning didn't come in till 88.
right, yeah, and I don't know what's on the books and what isn't. But I
Mm.
think that
That was
might
a
not be a
gravel
bad idea to
operation.
take a quick look and make sure that we don't have
Down there,
anything else
yeah.
on the river.
That was a gravel operation back then.
Well,
Yeah, and then it would, then,
I don't remember.
there
Well,
was all types of stuff in
was the
there.
gravel coming out of that when they did the second half of 114 down
I
there?
don't know, but I know there was gravel in there and a Gary.
You weren't born yet, is that what you said?
Yeah. And, I know that there was, storage facilities down there for, another contractor, and then there was buildings down there that It's
So
just
we'll,
garages and offices, and that's back, like I said, in the late 70s, early 80s.
so we'll
Oh,
forward
okay.
that to the planning board.
I was patrolling down
And see where they wanna go with that.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
I've talked to, again, I talked to
Alright,
the
well-
building inspector about that again
Right.
today, so.
I mean,
he and I talked.
we'll stay, you know, we wanna stay in the loop, but it's kinda their game. Any other
That's all I had.
correspondence? I did have one more, the board knows about a couple of instances that I've had with social media. I think that we need to have, I'd like to have that policy reviewed by legal counsel. Only for the fact of, we had her here, Laura here, and she basically had weighed in on it, and it was wishy-washy, what we could enforce and what we can't enforce. So, if we're putting it out as a town policy and the department heads are supposed to enforce it, I wanna make sure that they can enforce it legally and such.
I almost think she looked at it before we adopted it, but I can,
Yeah.
if I could
Yeah.
find the opinion.
Right.
And I don't wanna spend more money if we don't need to.
Correct. No, I agree. If
Okay.
if we can find information on it, I'd like to.
Okay.
But I just want to, I want to clarify that mostly for the department heads, because
Okay.
I've heard a little scuttle of other departments and other personnel, being held to, and I just want to make sure that it's 100% within the
With the social media portion?
correct, as far
Okay.
as
Because-
intrusion on,
Because,
what the town can and can't do on
because
personal pages.
I had Facebook blocked from computers here.
Mhm.
The firewall here doesn't allow you to get on Facebook.
Mhm.
And actually, the firewall doesn't allow you, if you want to use the Wi-Fi in this building, to use your cell phone and get on Facebook. It doesn't
Correct.
allow you.
Right.
I just think that's, it says right in the policy that not on a town computer, not,
Right. Well,
So-
it's not so much that, it's on the outside doing personal comments.
oh.
So I just want to make sure that some of that stuff is
Okay.
is covered.
Well, I
and
can
clear.
look it up, because I know, I thought
It
we
wasn't
went
too
through
long ago,
great.
16.
Yeah, we went
I think
through
we
great
adopted-
lengths, and I thought
Yeah.
she weighed in on it.
Yeah, and if she did, then we're good. But I just
Okay.
want to make sure that it's 100%. That's all. And I'd let-
2016, you think?
I think it was 16. Yeah, I have it. I
We,
can
Yeah.
forward you the date.
Because I remember we reviewed
We reviewed it.
a
Right.
bunch of others from other towns before we adopted the one
Right.
we have. And kind of
Okay.
And I
copied from
I
them.
almost think we did that, but
right.
Copied
I'll
from a few
double
of
check.
them.
Right. And I'd like to have a non-public under E.
Under E,
Under E.
Oh.
If we're all set with.
I'm all set.
With correspondence.
Yeah.
Other business?
So,
All right. Move to go under non-public under RSA 91A3 Roman numeral 2 E.
We're gonna
Second.
adjourn after?
Yes, we will adjourn after that.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.